Well, it's a rainy day in the workshop, and I've decided to go in a different direction than what I was originally thinking. One of the things I don't have yet on this car is any trunk space. When you flip up the trunk lid, basically you're looking at the rear end and the frame and the springs, which is good if you're working on the car, but if you're going to a car show and you want to throw a picnic basket or I've got a pretty nice little cloth tarp that I thought would be good to carry along in case we got stuck in a rainstorm. We could throw it over the car and sit under it. But it'd be nice to have a place to put that stuff. So I'm thinking about building me a box back here. I've got some stainless steel up here that I picked up at the dump. A couple of sheets of it right here. And I've got this big sheet of aluminum that I got from Stan. And I'm thinking that would work pretty well to shape up my box with. I've also got a stop sign. My neighbors have figured out that I collect old car memorabilia, stop signs, and all kind of street signs and things like that, so they've taken to giving me stuff. Now I'm thinking, well, I could build my box on each side, have that be removable, and then this part where the rear end needs to bounce up and down, I can raise that a little bit and then put my stop sign right on top of that, so when you open up the trunk, the stop sign will be sitting right there. And then I don't know, I'd make an interesting little trunk space. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to work on that. And I've been watching YouTube, and I got a friend named Barney down in South Carolina, and he's smarter than I am. He always kind of fabricates up his ideas out of cardboard and makes sure they fit, and then he cuts them out of metal and welds them into shape. And I'm thinking, dang, I ought to be smart like that, because I just tend to get an old piece of metal and start hammering on it till I make it fit. And sometimes it fits and sometimes it don't, but I'm going to do this the Barney style, and I'm trying to do it the right way. I'm going to make me some little cardboard templates, and then cut my metal, and then see how I can fit that all into place and make something work. So that's the plan. Okay, here's plan B. It's funny how some people create one way and some people create another. So I bought that piece of cardboard out here, and it's just sitting there. Meanwhile, I'm sticking the metal in there and thinking, okay, where do we go from here? Well, here's what I'm looking at. I've got the front part of the metal sitting up on a piece of 2x, which raises it up in the front 2 inches, which makes it fairly level and which gives me clearance over the rear end. The back of it back here is sitting on the little braces where the gas tank mounts. There's a little brace that sticks up above the frame about 1 inch on each side. And I'm thinking if I took that other piece of metal and made me a piece that would kind of come in at an angle and then come up and then come back in an angle, and then I Tex screwed it in along here and Tex screwed it together down there, then this would sort of sit in here. It would make this a hair wider on both sides if I got enough metal to do that, and that would pretty much get me covered as far as having the space here. All I'd have to do is engineer something back here. See, my gas tank sits right here, and I need to get access to my filler cap. So I'm thinking, well, I could put me a little door here that would hinge, have it where I can raise my trunk and then hinge that door down and fill this up and then hinge it back up. But I guess the first thing to do is to figure out those sides and cut and bend that metal and get it into place, tack screw it all together. Once I've got that done, I'm kind of going to have me a trunk space. It wouldn't be tight. In other words, if I threw my ink pen in the back of there, it'd probably fall out or something like that, and it'd probably get a bunch of dust in there unless I seal it up along the back of the cab, which I could do. I could take something like old car tag plates and put up in there, bend them and connect them there, and that would work good enough. In fact, maybe I could take an old car tag plate to make my door out of, something like that, kind of keeping true to the tag plate usage that I've done on the rest of the car. That might work out pretty cool. Another thing I'm thinking about doing, and I'm just going to go ahead and share this now. When I mounted this tag plate, I wanted to put one more here because I don't want you to be able to look through there and see the springs and the traction bar and all that. I want the body to look like it sort of fades in behind the tire. On the front of this old Volkswagen, I've got, well, on the front and the back, I've got a set of antique plates. It says Antique Auto on it. And I thought it'd be real cool to get those plates off and put them right here, so it would say Antique Auto right here. And if you're walking by and you're looking at that, you'll see that. And it kind of, I mean, let's face it, it is an antique auto, and to be using an antique auto plate there just strikes me as the right way to go. So that's something I'm thinking about doing. But I'm not going to get carried off on that. I'm going to stick with this for the moment because I'm liking where we're going with this. Yeah. And I was talking about using the stop sign I got out there. I might still lay it in the floor of this thing, but I don't think I'm going to use it in the actual construction, at least not yet. We'll see how that goes as we get along here.